Hello, and welcome to Step Up Nigeria's podcast. Our podcast is an initiative built to create awareness on governance issues that highlight the cost of corruption and its impact on service delivery. Our podcast is also aimed at promoting values that will help to build a society with people of integrity and to provide solutions to service delivery challenges faced by everyday Nigerians. My name is Ferami Adeola, and I am the host of this podcast. And on today's episode, we bring you a sort of deviation from what we usually discuss on our podcast, but it's a very special episode, and it's a two-part episode, the Journey 1 and the Journey 2. And what am I talking about? Step Up Nigeria is launching Emeka's Money film. Emeka's Money is the first in a children's anti-corruption storybook series by Onyi Ough, Step Up Nigeria's executive director. Since September 2018, over 7,000 children have read Emeka's Money storybook and have been inspired by Emeka to act with integrity. Now, with funding support from the MacArthur Foundation and creative direction from Basement Studios, Emeka's Money now has an animated film. In today's episode, we sit down with the author of Emeka's Money, Onyi Ough, as well as the CEO of the animation studio that she worked with, Basement Studios, Mbuotidem Johnson. In this episode, I asked them a few questions about their journey to making this exceptional film and what they expect viewers to react to when they watch the film. Please stay tuned and enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to Step Up Nigeria's podcast. Our podcast is an initiative built to create awareness of governance issues that highlight the cost of corruption and its impact on service delivery. It is also aimed at promoting values that will help build a society of people with integrity and provide solutions to service delivery challenges faced by everyday Nigerians. My name is Ferami Adeola, and I am the host of this podcast. And on today's special podcast, we will be discussing the journey to creating Emeka's Money animated film. And today with me, I have both producers for the film here today. The first is our executive director and the author of Emeka's Money story, Onyi Ough. And we also have the director from, let me just let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mbuotidem Johnson, MB for short. Everybody knows me as MB. I'm the producer, also a producer and director for Emeka's Money. I also run Basement Animation Studios. I've run the school for 12 years now, and we've been doing creative work we're now focused as an animation studio.
Thank you. Really excited about that. So Emeka's Money, which you're very well aware of, is the first of Onyi's anti-corruption storybook series for children. And since September 2018, we've been able to reach over 7,000 children with Emeka's Money storybook in particular, and inspired many to act with integrity. And so, in partnership with you and with funding support from MacArthur Foundation, here we are. I'll start with Onyi. Emeka's Money has been successful in teaching thousands of children about the meaning and effects of corruption in schools across Nigeria. So why was it important to you that the storybook had a film?
Thank you, Ferami. I think it was very important that Emeka's Money was turned into an animated film because I wanted to develop, other effective storytelling tools that could be used to teach anti-corruption education to children beyond the school environment. We had already started engaging them in the school environment, but we can't target all the children, right, in schools. And so I was thinking of what's the best medium that we could get more children, to get the message beyond the school environment. Secondly, I also wanted us to also think of a tool that could also get parents involved as well. Mm-hmm. So in as much as it's an animated film, I thought that, it could be a nice way for parents to enjoy, to get the message as well while watching the film, with the kids.
Okay, thank you, Onyi. So MB, please tell us a little bit about Basement Studios. Why was it created, when, and why did you set up the animation studio?
Okay, initially when I started my career, I really wanted to go into animation, but when I kicked off, obviously there's no animation schools in Nigeria. So then I was trying to get my myself outside, like we go and work in Disney, you know, everybody has their childhood dreams. I want to work in Disney, but actually I don't know how to draw. So I had to start doing a lot of self-training back here in Nigeria with the mindset that I was going to travel soon to go and work in Disney or get some professional training, but that didn't work out. And again, I didn't want to go through the regular system of just going, because I've heard everybody say the same thing, maybe my aunts, my uncles. I studied one funny course, you know, just get a degree. I was really against that perspective when I started, when I was still a teenager. So I was literally the only person in my family that refused to go to school. So everybody went to Unilag. I refused to do proper school. I was like, I want to do animation. Then my parents would say, cartoon. You want to do cartoon? This cartoon. Every time cartoon. You know, and then it was like a norm for you to be a teenager. You're still watching cartoons at your age. It's like as if you don't want to grow up, you know, but I still followed my dreams. Then at some point, I just decided since I couldn't travel out because it was quite expensive, I started applying for online schools. I think then we had the boom of online schooling and professional training. So I applied to a couple of schools. I got a scholarship online to do one particular school. I was like the first set of the school when they picked up. So I had the opportunity to train people from, you know, some people that worked in Disney. So I started from there. At that point, it was just a personal thing to go and work in Disney. But I found myself in it. There were so many. So I just decided, you know what, from doing one client job to the other client job, I now started to start, you know, and then it was just four of us. Then was my fiance, which she draws very well. My best friend, which he also did an interview with, is Rodney, the guy with the beard, and one other person that does the songwriting, which also was, so we're just four then working, and it was cool. I was the animator, he was the sound person, this person was the art, my wife was the production person, she knew how to manage projects. So it was just a small thing then. So at some point we just say, no, let's just expand, let's just start up like a big studio. So that was 2016. We just said, you know what, let's just start expand, let's start training people, let's start bringing in more talent. And 2016, that's where it really started. And we just shifted from just being a creative studio to just solely animation, which at that point in time it was very crazy because we somehow locked out other projects we could do, like video production and other things. So people were just like, it was just straightforward. When you hear our name, okay, they just do only animation. We just wanted to do that, which was difficult at that point in time, but we just decided to focus on the big picture. This is what we want people to recognize us as.
Yeah, such an inspiring story, actually, especially in the time that we are. So thank you very much for that. So when you were first approached to create this film, what was most striking to you about Emeka's story? Did you believe it was a story that needed to be told?
Like usually when people approach us now, like I want to convert my kid's book or I have a story for kids, I'm always like, boring. I'm not interested. I'm never interested because whenever we go through the stories, they're always the same stories. But when I got this particular project, I was quite intrigued because usually when people are talking about corruption, it's always focused to adults in the sense that, okay, because they feel like the problem is there, they're the ones that where the money is being exchanged and all everything is happening. So, but taking it to the perspective of children, you know, I never crossed my mind like if we want to fix the problem, we should start from the kids right now because they're actually watching the adults. So I've never thought about it like it was. I never saw it in that perspective. So when I saw Emeka's Money, the book, I was curious. But it felt like, to me, it felt like it was a lost cause because I was like, how many people are going to actually back up this kind of vision? Because it's not the regular thing. And Nigeria, they like everything like what is happening. You know, they want what is happening for them to put their hands so they can get the name, the popularity. But this was actually out of the book. So I was really interested. I was invested in it from the get-go. Because I remember then I'll call Onyi when I was like, how is everything going? I'll encourage her, don't worry, we're going to do this. I felt like it was my own project too. You know, I kept on saying, don't worry, eventually we're going to produce the film. We're going to get there. So I was really intrigued and it became like my own baby, so to say.
Thank you very much, MB. quite an interesting story, and that's the next question I'm leading to. So, Oni, when you had this vision for this film and even the books, so how were you able to work with Basement Studios to bring this vision to life? Were there any challenges or lessons you learned along the way?
Yeah. In fact, I think MB really covered, what really happened. I think he captured it really correctly, because when I decided that this book should be turned into a film, we started cracking our heads. I was like, I wanted to be a Nigerian animated company, but I didn't know any. I didn't even know if we're doing because I wanted it to be top quality, and really that could, real top quality that could, something of international standard, but made in Nigeria, not something that people would just see as a pet project on anti-corruption. I really wanted it to be, to be strong. And we started asking around. So luckily we met with Ibrahim and Adamu Waziri. I think it was one of the, I can't remember who I met first. I think it was Adamu Waziri, and he was really extremely helpful. Adamu Waziri is the creator of Bino and Fino. Him and his brother are the producers and creator of Bino and Fino. Call it, I don't know if it's the first Nigerian animated cartoon. Maybe MB will correct me, but it's they also did something innovative by trying to get an animation series for kids in Nigeria that tells the story of our culture. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's brings it back to basis. And I looked at their clips and I admired the quality of their work. So we approached them first, but they were very busy at the time. But they said, look, and I think it's about people sharing your vision, and I'll come to that. And I think he was like, no, he was trying to think who is the best person, best company that we think. And then, Basement Animation was recommended, and email introductions were made. And when I first spoke to MB, to be honest with you, I think I have found the right guy for the project, because when you speak to someone and he shares your vision, in fact, he was so excited. So the way he presented it now is exactly what happened. He was very excited about the project, and that gave me confidence as well. Like, when someone says, well, I love your work, because when you also have a project, if someone doesn't really send your work, if I'm allowed to use that word, doesn't really care, it comes across, right? But I think what really helped was that shared vision from the beginning. And Basement as well, they are very hardworking. I don't think MB ever saw my angry side. And you're lucky that you didn't see that side. And the reason why MB didn't see that side of me was just because they delivered seriously, like, to the standard and quality. We worked very well. And even when they were back and forth, definitely you expect back and forth, because I think we were at some point every week, you churn out something, we review, get sent back. That's how we were working, like literally almost on weekly basis, only during the Christmas period when there was a slight break. So it was that, I think the hard work, the shared vision really, really helped. And that's one of the lessons I learned as well for this project. The fact that if you're doing this kind of project, it's good to take your time and look for, work with people that actually share your vision. And I think it comes, so they put all their energy in it to produce something of, of good quality. And the second thing is lesson I learned, though. I learned a lot also. I didn't know jack anything about animation, but just working with them now, I think I've learned the process of how it works, and the fact that it takes so much time. It's not like producing, like a regular movie, right, or a regular play or whatever, because animation is on a different, it's very technical, and if you have to make any corrections, you have to make at a certain stage, because if they've gone past a particular stage, to require more money. And so that made it also a little bit challenging. So we had to be very careful and really, ensure that at each scene we approve, we're really happy with it. So it took we'll watch one scene 20 times and really review, because we knew that going back to that scene, would cost us more money. So that's one of the, lessons, and it also a little bit of call it challenge, in terms of producing the movie. But overall, I think it was quite a good experience.
Thank you very much, Onyi. So, MB, from your end, how was the journey to making this film with Onyi? What challenges did you possibly face? Any lessons you learned along the way?
Yeah, I think for us as a studio, it was a big push. We usually try to dodge long-form projects because it takes so long, and there are so many challenges you can't really predict. So when you put it on paper, the plan. So it's difficult to actually say, okay, this might work out. Like now this pandemic happened. We had to do like the remaining 35% of the project from home. Everybody was working from home. So there are some things you can't really predict. So we try to avoid it. Because sometimes that the client can't actually cover the bill for it. And if we make any mistakes, it costs us more money. So at some point when we were supposed to finish the project as of January 31st, and we had to make out more time, we eventually finished it at May. So, and it was a big push for us as a studio. And we kept on ringing Disney in our head. we all knew exactly what Disney was doing at what level. You know, it's good to always have a client that knows what they want. They might not know the process, but they know exactly how they want the end to be. But sometimes you have clients that they don't know what they want. They just say, we want cartoons, we just want animation, and it doesn't push you as far as you want it to. It's not challenging. So we try to see, okay, when a project is challenging for us, and how can we evolve as a studio? Because usually what happens is that if someone brings us a story that's different, it helps us to evolve to something else. We tend to dig deeper, sense of creativity. Okay, how can we make this work? How can we make it better? So for us, it was really a big push to be on a project for 6 months. I don't think we've done that. We've not done that. I think we did that early when we started, when we were working on our own project. But we've tried to avoid it because it's time-taking. Then at some point, because of this creative work, we get exhausted when there's a back and forth. So we had to make sure we had to keep the pace of the whole thing, keeping the drive of the whole thing. As much as we're trying to make the best work, we try to keep everybody's drive. So there's one thing we're doing, one thing that comes up and we're like excited is getting there, Like when we send our whatever we're doing weekly to how we get a feedback, we draw energy from that. He likes it. Okay, let's keep pushing it. It was challenging, and we didn't just want to do something that we're just being paid for. We wanted to do something that we own to ourselves. Like we are happy at the end of the day that we actually were part of the project. So that I think that was really exciting.
Yeah, thank you. So Emmy, I'll ask you again, and then Onyi can round up. What change do you hope this film will elicit in the viewing audience? What do you expect to be the reaction from people?
I beyond it just being a very good project and good story, I hope people can see it from the perspective that I saw it from the beginning. In the sense that kids need to be educated about this early enough, and this knowledge needs to be passed down early enough. And also, it's not just for the kids. If we're a better country, that and we begin to focus on the kids, give them the right materials, give them the right information, let them know the consequences of their actions early enough, and they build not just that they just know it at that age, they grew up knowing that when they are teenagers and when they become leaders in any part of the society. So I'm hoping that even people that have made mistakes in the past, somehow we've always just contributed to corruption one way or the other. And that was because we're in an industry that there's a lot of that. So we vowed as a student never to partake in it. So it was very difficult 2016 for us when we started, because when people wanted us to teach them to get some projects, we refused. And it's so funny. I think my wife the other day that it's so funny that I work on how to do with corruption, because we worked on something with Leap Africa. It has to do with integrity. And I just think because of our values that people keep going into us, or we worked on something with Emeka's money. Presently, we're working on something with United Nations on corruption too. They reached out to us, and I just feel like if people should see it that way, like if you want to get things done, you don't always have to go down that route. Eventually, it will eventually do something that people that come after us can follow and learn from.
Thank you very much. And Onyi, just before you answer, so what change do you hope the viewing audience would have after watching? And then, people see cartoons and animation and think it's for children. What do you say to those people? Do you believe the film will also have an impact on adults who would view it as well?
Yeah, thanks, Rami. I think it's my Okay, yeah. I think in terms of the change, I'm hoping that some of those practices or behaviors that drive corruption in Nigeria, that people would begin to think about them and reflect on what impact those things that have become normal, what could have a larger consequence in society. Maybe we should begin to think about those kind of actions. So, like, should we be focusing more on merit-based recruitment? Like recruiting people who are best for the jobs rather than people who are related to us, or those kind of action. That's what Emeka's story really tries to show. And the truth of the matter is, the message as well is not that corrupt people are always bad people per se. Sometimes some people engage in corrupt actions without knowing, A, that those are corrupt actions, and B, that those actions have consequences on society. We can see in Emeka's Money, the film, and the storybook, like Emeka was doing these things to help his friends and family, but he didn't realize at the time that helping his friends could cause such harm in society. So that's the message. It's not about pointing fingers at anyone, but just more like for people to have a bit of reflection and think about their behavior and practices that they are currently doing, or that could have a negative influence or consequences on society. Or if we have, for example, if you have a relation or friend that has just been made director or PAMSEC in the ministry, and we put so much pressure on such individuals, we should think of that action about putting pressure on those people, what it could make them to do, and the consequence it could have on other members of society who are not related to that man. So it's just it's just a film. I think the message I want people to get is that, to be able to reflect on some of these behaviors. And in terms of whether it would resonate with adults, I think it should, because it depends. It also depends on taste. Some adults like watching animated films, so those kind of people automatically would, probably sit down to watch it in the first place. We're also hoping that those of us who are parents, who have kids, we tend to, most time we are forced to watch things our kids are watching. So the idea is, Emeka's Money maybe playing on the background, and parents, doing what they're doing, could be listening to the message from the film, and hopefully too would get some of the message. So yeah, so I believe the film and even the song, we didn't mention the song in this discussion. The movie has a soundtrack, and I believe that it has a strong potential to get adults to reflect on some of the key messages.
Yeah, thank you very much, Onyi, and thank you, MB. That brings us to the end of this podcast. Really glad to have this discussion with you, and I hope that our listeners are inspired to watch the film. Emeka's Money film premieres on May 29th. So please follow Step Up Nigeria on Step Up TV, and make sure you subscribe so that you get notified once the film goes live. So MB, please, how can our followers follow Basement Studios and your activities? What's your social media, your websites, all those details?
Our social media account is Basement NG on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Farmi. Thank you, MB.
We hope you have enjoyed listening to Emeka's Money, The Journey. Please remember that Emeka's Money launches this week on May 29th right here on Step Up TV. So please subscribe to our channel and turn on those post notifications so you know once the film premieres. And we hope that some insights from the book author, the film producer, have made you excited about watching the film. So please go to our channel and subscribe and follow us on all our social media handles. Thank you so much for listening. I remain your host, Fermi Adeola. Thank you.